All right, so this conversation is for Anarch and the government of Anarch specifically. And some people might consider, what do I think is God, and or the Creator, and et cetera, as far as part of my belief, or some of the things that I do. Um, these are the trees in my backyard. It's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful and astounding. Just the amount of life out here, and billions of years ago, something sprouted on Earth, maybe as small as a virus, but it was life. It could have been bacteria, and it was life. And since then, what you're looking at is what it turned into, and it has been continuously alive all that time. This is number one for me. Number one for me is what I'm taking a picture of with this camera. And what that means is that, when you look around you, this is the oldest living life form on planet Earth. I mean, if I was to fly away from Earth and make an observation of what is the oldest life form on Earth, I would probably say all that green right there, is billions of years old. So as part of, like, a person has cells or different organs and et cetera, so do the environments. Those consist of people like me. I'm a man. There's insects. You won't see any insects here because the county just recently killed all of the Creator's life in this area, relative to small insects and bugs. It's a routine business of the state of Florida's old government model. But what you're looking at is the Creator. I mean, the Creator's below me, at my feet, and the rule in the sky. So when I talk about the rule at theoryofrelativity.net, and you really get down to business with what radio, U-line, light equals energy really is, it looks like a science equation. I mean, it really does. It looks like a science equation. So what? Radio and light across the U-line add up to some sort of energy. I mean, a lot of people don't understand it. It is absolutely one of the most complex topics I have ever worked with. And just so you know, to take one of the highest oaths as part of Anarch or as an Arch Catholic, you put your hand up to the light. So you put your hand up to the light and you swear on that light around you. All this data is going to my hand, from the trees, from the grass, from the sky. Everything's near my hand, and that's where I take my oath. And it is the highest oath on planet Earth. And once you understand the rule, so I call it Marley's rule, but it's just a rule. It was present when the stars in this local cluster were made. So that means radio and light was there when these stars were born. When our planet was born, radio and light was here. These are the things that that helped make our planet and all this life around you what it is today. So we manage a natural rule in an attempt to ensure longevity of what we consider number one, and swearing on the rule. And then, of course, nowadays I really don't want to get into detail about some of the fighting that we're doing for people spraying the skies, or tearing down creation, or going after what we believe in. And in this situation, what I wanted to talk about as part of this particular video is, I mean, the Creator made all this. So the oldest living life form, and who do we pray to? Where is my temple? Is my temple outside? I mean, am I talking to the rule in the sky? Do I talk to the trees out here? I mean, the sound from my voice obviously affects these plants. Maybe the motions from when I walk, or even my light, touches all of these things, all of this life around me. And living in the state of Florida, we are a part of our environment. Whether other people like it or not, I'm a part of number one. And just like everybody else in this area, and all these insects, all these animals, and everything else that's being assaulted as part of some sort of modern conflict in the area. So when you understand who I pray to, and then you want to understand the oath that I work with, just keep in mind that all this data from number one is near my hands when I take that oath. I don't need a book of another man to swear on, because I have a book older than our planet and our star to swear on. And I know it was present when all of this was made. And I know that the land below my surface was here, right? All this rock and dirt. And I understand, what the Creator is. When it comes to, the rule, perhaps teaching me how to defend planet Earth, it's important to recognize that maintaining a natural along a U-line is kind of hard. I mean, it's a complicated topic. I'm going to try and keep it simple. But if you were to understand all this area here, okay, and you wanted to understand how a U-line was drawn, I guess a lot of people don't understand. I probably shouldn't do it in this video. But when something's deviated in an area, it could violate what is a natural rule, and that means a measurement of energy over several million years, estimated or otherwise, across multiple different points, and then identifying on, for some reason, there's some radiation in this area and it appears to be affecting things. So it's almost like a rule deviation or a rule violation, and that consideration is relative to a natural measurement over such a very long period of time and consistent with another observation of my belief. So when I find these problems, I begin to challenge them, whether they come from drones in the sky or satellites or radio towers or even electromagnetic programs or longitudinal programs in the dirt. Some of these programs are dangerous, and they have consequences. So when you consider, how I believe or why I believe what I believe, there's a lot of science and there's a lot of a lot of guesswork, I think, for some of it, because we're alive. We don't have all the answers, and I'm writing the book, if it makes any sense. I'm not reading it from other people. I've had to work from the ground up for everything that I've found and everything that I've discovered, and I've recorded document after document after document just for so long, and it's one of these things where when someone asks me, who do I believe in, or how do I believe, and because I write about this stuff at the governmentofanarch.com or governmentofanarchy.com, and I'm not the best writer or I'm not the best at grammar and spelling. So just to let you know, that's what I put this together for, so you can kind of see how I believe as far as the age of what's here. So there's really no questions relative to technology or extraterrestrial activity or anything of the sort. And what's required to be understood then is deities and ghosts and things like that. So I've got number one, and you guys understand a little bit about the rule that I swear on. So when you do understand it, it's one of the highest oaths you can take in the local cluster of a star system, or relative to a planet. But you have to be near those things to take that oath. So if I'm going to take this oath, speaking about the rule around my hand, and it is to defend something like this, then I need to be in the woods when I do it. So and of course I could probably add a book, but I don't exactly have a book that I would that I would swear on, if it makes any sense. Now this book right here, the data from those trees and that grass gets near my hand and it reflects off, but it's changed. It looks like my hand now. It doesn't look like all this stuff here. So the oath you have to understand is relative to what you're taking an oath on. The rule is different all over the place. It doesn't matter where you go. There's not one primary rule over everything, I wouldn't imagine. And if there was, I'm not sure I could do anything about it. You know what I mean? So in any case, just keep in mind that the way I'm trying to assemble some of this is a process of being understood, because a lot of this is new to me. Just like everybody else, I was an animal born to serve as one of God's flocks, learning to defend what I believe, and not only defend what I believe, but learn to live according to, or learn how to live in accordance with. And sometimes we're put in a situation where we have to figure out a fight for more than ourselves, and it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's a tremendous responsibility, and it's a lot of information to work with, a lot of emotions, and there's just a lot of things to explore. So before you get down to business on it, just keep in mind that number one, you're looking right here, this is part of it. These trees, it came from, I don't know what it came from, mold, maybe 2 billion years ago, 3 billion years ago. That mold has been consistently alive today, and now we got trees. So and that might not be the absolute process or the real process, just to give an indicator, but that out there is God, and this planet, and then of course the location of our planet in the solar system relative to our star and the other stars. So there's all sorts of variables, but just to let you know, as far as my belief, when I evaluate other religions, that's the God that I refer to, or the creator that I refer to, and it's my personal belief to maintain what's considered natural. And as for natural measurement, that's how I typically evaluate some of the actions of other beliefs. Even though it might not be my place to do so, it is for my personal understanding.